Another day means another episode. Welcome back to Ramadan for Youth TV. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel and like our videos, and also follow us on our social media at Sky Academy NJ. And don't forget to tune in every day at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Today, we have a very special guest for Ramadan Talks. Imam Ghazi Aga, who is a chaplain at Sacred Heart University and also the Imam of Albanian American Muslim community of Waterbury, Connecticut. Stay tuned.
Greetings, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Dear brothers and sisters, I extend to you the greetings of peace. First of all, we praise God and we send our salutations to Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon him. It is the best time of the year. It's the month of Ramadan. I know it's not the best time ever we had during Ramadan, but I am sure that with your creativity, with your activities that you are doing with your parents, and with the prayers and everything else that you are doing for the month of Ramadan, I'm sure you're transforming this time because this is one of our characteristics. The characteristic of a believer is trying to transform every situation where he is or she is. Uh, I want to start with a congratulation for this program. I might admit that it is very professional and sincere, and I would stop to the word sincerity because, as we know, that is the spirit of every deed that we do. Without sincerity, without ikhlas, every action, every deed loses his value in the sight of God. Dear everyone, there is a certain start for religious obligation. As we know, after we become, for some 12, 11, my daughter is starting to kind of trying to fast, and she is 9 years old, and it's not easy. But once you start the religious obligation, Islam sees youth very differently. So maybe in some societies, when you are 15 years old, you don't have the right to speak, you don't have the right to do anything. But Islam takes you very seriously. As soon as you start being obliged to fast or to pray, Islam gives you the responsibilities that everyone else has. So you are not just a 15 years old, 14 years old uh, male or female, brother or sister fasting, but you have social and individual responsibilities. Islam takes youth very serious, and we see in our history how the ashab, the friends, the companions of Prophet Muhammad did great job, and they were very little in age. Let's not forget Ali radiallahu anhu. He was just 10, 11 years old, and he was kind of the secretary of Prophet Muhammad. So if you are 12, if you are 13, you have things to do, and we will talk about this. Uh, it's Islam, dear brothers and sisters, has some goals as a religion. The goals to uh, the main goals are the protection and preservation of life, intellect, progeny, property, and religion. As we know, Islam is a great religion, but also a very peaceful religion too. Islam encompasses the previous prophets like Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon them all. They share a lot of common stories, but one of their most common story is the story of migration. They all were expelled from their places and run out by their own people. But there are always bad and good people in the history. It is important to be in the right side. There are always good people that takes them in and chooses to support them. There is a common unifying purpose of good and brings uh, out the best of us as human beings, regardless of our faith, nationality, and color. So it's important to be people who help and not people who oppress, people of faith, people of human rights, and not being from the bad side. I will give you an example. Uh, a Muslim sister here in Connecticut, she was doing her shopping. She just came from her country, and she was mocked because of her hijab. And we know it's not easy. There are always people who have prejudice. There is an Arab proverb that says that people are enemy of unknown. But what happened after this gives us hope and shows the value, the great value of a lot of people, of the society where we live in, of the United States of America. What happened is that everyone who was present in the shop, they came all together and they hugged the sister and uh, they tried to understand her and to support her. Human rights, it will be the focus of this short message. I know that this is not the most favorite part of the program. Everyone maybe is prepared to watch the wonderful recipes or to play the Kahoot and getting the gifts. But I think that we are in Ramadan. It's important to try to get this message too. Human rights in Islam is part of a broader concept, which includes the rights of God, the rights of other humans, but the rights of other creatures too. We cannot separate the human rights from the rights of animals, for example. When we apply all these rights, we consider they are all considered as acts of worship. That's why in Islam, together with faith, together with worship, we as Muslims, regardless of our age, we should know that part of worship is being kind. Part of worship is respecting your parents. Part of worship is helping the needy. Part of worship is studying and being successful in your school in order to benefit society later. So, when it comes to haqq, uh, rights in general, human rights, all human beings, according to Islam, are considered equal, regardless of their faith, race, or culture. There are many hadiths of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that indicate that a lot of sins, including God's rights, will be forgiven by doing specific rituals or devotional acts except human rights. As a great scholar says, Bediüzzaman Said Nursi, one of the greatest scholars of the last century, he has a very interesting approach when it comes to human rights. He says that the rights of an innocent man cannot be cancelled for the sake of all people. A single individual may not be sacrificed for the good of all. In the view of Almighty God's compassion, right is right, and there is no difference between great and small. The small, he says, may not be annulled for the great, and without his consent. The life and rights of an individual may not be sacrificed for the good of community. How great this is. Everyone, be regardless of their age, we should be proud of our faith. We should be proud of our great religion of Islam. But of course, we are human beings, and not everyone who claims it is a Muslim shows the practice of this great religion. Always there are people who oppress, always there are people who use religion for their own interests. But it's important to know that the basics of our faith are peace, our human rights, and our actions. God says, "O you have believed, be persistently standing firm for Allah, witness injustice, and do not let the hatred of a people prevent you from being just." From a religious or spiritual perspective, uh, dear everyone, there is a connection between inner and outer peace. So the real peace building starts from the inner peace, starts at your home, starts at your class, at your neighborhood, at your country. Let's not accept human right violations, even if everyone else accepts it. Jesus and his community was less than 1%. Moses and his community was less than 1%. Muhammad and his community, and peace be upon all, was less than 1%. But it's not easy to make the difference. Prophet Muhammad gives us um, a wide spectrum when it comes to what can we do, what are our actions in order to benefit society, what should be our reaction when we see violation of human rights. He says, whenever among you, whoever among you sees an evil action, let him take action. You see a friend who is not studying anymore, who is watching too much TV, playing games, so he's losing his battle with his nafs, then let's take action if you can. Prophet Muhammad he gives us a second step. If he cannot, then by speaking out, at least speak with him. And if he cannot, then with his heart, and that is the weakest of faith. So uh, let's stay unique in our character, conscience, and values. Let's unite in unifying purpose of good, and let us build bridges. Let's give a hug to the different, and let's not complain. It is one of the biggest problems of today's society, complaining for everything. Talk with your grandma and grandpa and tell them your complaints. Trust me, there are a lot of your complaints which are dua, are prayer for someone else in another country. If you complain for not having a specific thing, that the things that you have are dreams for the rest. So it's important not to complain, but to walk, to take an action. And let's try to understand each other. You can make what God wants us to make by His permission and help. If your parents are suffering in any manner because of their attitude towards injustice, be proud of them. I am from Albania and we suffered a lot from the communist regime. There are a lot of families who lost their wealth, their career, their everything. But their kids were proud for the for the actions of their ancestors, for the actions of their parents and grandparents. Think the opposite. What if your parent would be the one who oppresses? Would you be more pleased with him? So it's not easy to have change in our life, to have a downgrade in the quality of our life. But if that downgrade comes from the sake of God, comes from an action that you did for the sake of God, that your parents did for the sake of God, then that is a blessing. And then be thankful to them, be proud of them. The God says, Prophet Muhammad says, "O God, forgive my people, for they do not know." It is important to hate the action and not hating people. It is important to work against human rights violations, but always being constructive. Racism was another human rights which Prophet Muhammad and his companions brought another perspective to the human society. There is a famous example about Abu Dhar. He got angry with Bilal. They were human beings, but they were the best ever of the, the best generation of human society were the companions of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon him. So Abu Dhar got angry with Bilal. They discussed for something. They were in a majlis together and insulted him. And he said to him that you, the son of a black woman. So uh, think this 1400 years ago, and this happens in every society. In some societies, if you are from a village, if you are a villager, they will mock you. They will say, hey, who are you to talk? Who are you to be in the same level with us? So he told him the same to Bilal. You, the son of a black woman, you are trying to correct me. So what did Bilal do? He went, Bilal radiallahu anhu, he went to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and reported the incident in tears. The Messenger of God sallallahu alaihi wasallam uh, immediately called Abu Dhar and he told him, "Do you still have a sign of jahiliyyah, of ignorance?" But here we have the reactions of Ashab. Abu Dhar was repentant of what he did and lay on the ground and said, "The head of Abu Dhar will not be raised," meaning that he will not get up unless Bilal put his foot on it to pass over it. Bilal forgave him and they were reconciled. So even if you would know that the world would end tomorrow, says Prophet Muhammad, you should go out and plant a tree. I know that we don't have time, and I will finish by a verse, dear brothers and sisters. There are different rights in Islam. One of the rights which people of 21st century violates more are the rights of ourselves. According to Islam, since are a violation of our rights. So, dear youngs, uh, olders, doesn't matter, dear myself, everyone, let's be very careful with our own rights. God says in Holy Quran, one who transgresses the limits set by God has committed injustice against oneself. So let this be the message of today. Let's not violate the rights of ourselves, the rights of God, the rights of other human beings, the rights of animals, the rights of the world. In a society where the youth is with these feelings, then we will have the real peace. Uh, then we will have the real internal and the global peace. May Allah be pleased with everyone and let this month of mercy, let this month of barakah brings peace to everyone's house, and let's talk with each other. There are a lot of people outside who might need just your call or your message.
Imam Ghazi Aga, thank you so much for being our guest speaker tonight, and thank you for reminding us the importance of peace and kindness and unity. Next up is Iftar menu. Nevad is going to show us how to make cinnamon tea cake, perfect for tea time right after Taraweeh because there isn't always room for dessert right after Iftar.
Hello guys, and welcome to our Ramadan YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be telling you guys about this beautiful cinnamon tea cake recipe. It's especially great for cinnamon lovers. You don't need to include the cinnamon, but you know, it adds like the best flavor. So what we're going to be needing for this recipe is 3 eggs, 2 cups of sugar, 3 cups of flour, 1 cup of oil, 1 cup of brewed black tea, 1 packet of vanilla, 1 to 2 tablespoons of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of cocoa, and cinnamon for those who like cinnamon. And this doesn't really matter, it's just according to your taste buds. So let's get started. Okay, so first we're going to start off by cracking our eggs into the bowl. And then we are going to add the 2 cups of sugar. And we are going to whisk it until it doesn't feel grainy anymore. Okay, so once our eggs and our sugar are mixed well, like this, kind of whitened and bubbly, we are going to proceed with adding our oil and our tea. Once we've mixed in our liquids, we are going to add in our flour, cocoa powder, cinnamon, and vanilla powder. Once we've finished mixing all of our ingredients together, we are going to add in our baking powder. Now let's mix that in evenly. Once all of our ingredients are mixed together, make sure to put some type of oil inside of your pan so the cake doesn't stick. And let's pour it in. This is my favorite part. It's always Once we put our cake into our pan, we are going to set our oven to 375 degrees and place our cake in. Do not open the oven for the first 20 minutes. Once the 20 minutes is over, check on your cake, and according to how much it's cooked, leave it in for another 5 to 10 minutes, maybe even 15. And to check if our cake is ready, we are just going to take a knife and pop it in. And if anything sticks to it, that means our cake is not ready yet. After we've taken our cake out of the oven and let it cool down for a bit, we're gonna make it look pretty and put some powdered sugar all over the cake. After we have put our powdered sugar all over our cake, it is ready to serve. I hope you guys enjoy, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you, Neval, for that delicious looking dessert. Now, moving on to Islamic scholars. Today's Islamic scholar is Maryam al Istrulabi. Stay tuned. Hi, today we will be talking about Maryam al-Astrolabiya. So for today's episode, I want to start off with a question. What is an astrolabe? An astrolabe is a historical instrument used to predict the position of the sun, moon, planet, and stars. It was perfected during the Islamic Golden Age and the European Middle Ages and Renaissance. Many prominent historical figures, including writer Geoffrey Chaucer and possibly ancient astronomer Claudius Ptolemy, have written about or made use of astrolabes. Astrolabes were made of several different discs and star charts. In the Islamic Golden Age, astrolabes were widely used to determine the Qibla, the prayer direction towards Mecca, as well as to pinpoint prayer timings with the movement of the sun. Muslim astronomers also added angular scales in the astrolabes themselves, making it possible to navigate distances. Furthermore, Muslim astronomers and inventors created the spherical astrolabe, a globe-shaped model of objects in the sky, which consists of rings and lines that symbolize longitude, latitude, and other significant astronomic and geographic features. The spherical astrolabe was eventually introduced to Europe, where it was used in early astronomical studies. These inventions also helped the Muslims to perfect celestial globes, an actual globe of the sky that helped map out stars and constellations. The creation and perfection of the astrolabe, as well as the spherical astrolabe and the celestial globe, significantly advanced the early world. It promoted scientific and astronomical exploration and cultivated new ways of navigation and timekeeping. In the Islamic world, it helped perfect the finding of the Qibla. Maryam al-Astrolabiya al-Ijliya is significantly linked with the design of astrolabes. Although Muhammad al-Fazari is the first Muslim to have helped build an astrolabe in the Islamic world in the 8th century, Maryam is credited with designing and advancing this instrument. Though not much is written about Maryam, we know that she worked in the mid-10th century around 944-967 AD in what is now northern Syria. Her work was both creative and innovative. Her father was an apprentice to a well-known astrolabe maker, and she studied under him as a student. She created new designs, which were soon recognized by Saif al-Dalwa, the city's ruler. In addition, she also helped further navigation and timekeeping techniques. Maryam exemplifies that the pursuit of knowledge is encouraged in Islam and does not discourage women from it. Maryam is considered a significant scientist in this period of time. Many these days argue that Islam oppresses women or restricts their learning, or more broadly, that Islam clashes with science. But Maryam and the Muslims' influence on astrolabes illustrate that knowledge, scientific and general, are supported by Islam. Because she pursued, studied, and helped innovate new technology for her time, Maryam al-Astrolabiya al-Ijliya remains a role model until today, for the new generation and the old. Thank you.
جميل يا الله يا قريب يا الله يا مجيب يا الله يا حبيب يا الله يا جميل يا الله يا قريب يا الله يا مجيب يا الله يا حبيب يا الله يا رؤوف يا الله يا عطوف يا الله يا معروف يا الله يا لطيف يا الله يا رؤوف يا الله يا عطوف يا الله يا معروف يا الله يا لطيف يا الله يا عظيم يا الله يا حنان يا الله يا منان يا الله يا ديان يا الله يا عظيم يا الله يا حنان يا الله يا منان يا الله يا ديان يا الله يا سبحان يا الله يا أمان يا الله يا برهان يا الله يا سلطان يا الله.
That episode of Muslim Scientists was very empowering. It's important to acknowledge women in STEM. Next up, Hayrettin and Yusuf will be joining us once again to perform Uzun İnce Bir Yoldayım.
Uzun ince bir yoldayım, gidiyorum gündüz gece. Bilmiyorum ne haldayım, gidiyorum gündüz gece, gündüz gece, gündüz gece, gündüz gece vay. Bilmiyorum ne haldayım, gidiyorum gündüz gece, gündüz gece, gündüz gece, gündüz gece vay. Dünyaya geldiğim anda yürüdüm aynı zamanda. İki kapılı bir handa gidiyorum gündüz gece, gündüz gece, gündüz gece, gündüz gece vay. İki kapılı bir handa gidiyorum gündüz gece, gündüz gece, gündüz gece, gündüz gece vay.
Thank you, Hayrettin and Yusuf, for that great performance. Now, moving on to some facts. We fast every day during the month of Ramadan, but how much do we know about fasting? Tuning into Did You Know This? Facts about fasting.
Fasting has been shown to have many health benefits, from increased weight loss to better brain function. Here are 8 health benefits of fasting, backed by science. A Japanese cell biologist won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2016 for his research on how cells recycle and renew their content, a process called autophagy. Fasting activates autophagy, which helps slow down the aging process and has a positive impact on a cell renewal. Several studies have found that fasting may improve blood sugar control, which can be especially useful for those at risk of diabetes. In fact, one study in 10 people with type 2 diabetes showed that fasting significantly decreased blood sugar levels. Meanwhile, another review found that fasting was as effective as limiting calorie intake and reducing insulin resistance. Decreasing insulin resistance can increase your body's sensitivity to insulin, allowing to transfer glucose from your bloodstream to your cells more effectively. Coupled with potential blood sugar level lowering effects of fasting, this could help you keep your blood sugar steady, preventing spikes and crashes in your blood sugar levels. Keep in mind though, that some studies have found that fasting may impact blood sugar levels differently from men and women. While acute inflammation is a normal immune process used to help fight off infection, chronic inflammation can have serious consequences for your health. Research shows that inflammation may be involved in the development of chronic conditions such as heart disease and cancer. Some studies have found that fasting can help decrease levels of inflammation and help promote better health. Another small study discovered the same effect when people fast for 12 hours a day for 1 month. Heart disease is considered the leading cause of death around the world, accounting for an estimated 31.5% of deaths globally. Switching up your diet and lifestyle is one of the most effective ways to reduce your risk of heart diseases. Some research has found that incorporating fasting into your routine may be especially beneficial when it comes to your heart health. One small study revealed that 8 weeks of fasting reduced the levels of bad LDL cholesterol by 25% and 32% respectively. In addition, one study in 4,629 people associated fasting with a lower risk of coronary artery disease, as well as significantly lower risk of diabetes, which is a major risk factor for heart disease. Though research is mostly limited to animal research, several studies have found that fasting could have a powerful effect on the brain health. One study in mice showed that practicing fasting for 11 months improved both brain function and brain structure. Other animal studies have reported that fasting could protect brain health and increase the generation of nerve cells to help enhance cognitive functions. In particular, studies in animals suggest that fasting may protect against and improve outcomes for such conditions such as Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's. Many dieters pick up fasting looking for a quick and easy way to drop a few pounds. Theoretically, abstaining from all or certain foods and beverages should decrease your overall calorie intake, which could lead to increased weight loss over time. In addition, fasting was found to be more effective than calorie restriction at increasing fat loss while simultaneously preserving muscle tissue. Human growth hormone, HGH, is a type of protein hormone that is central to many aspects of your health. In fact, research shows that this key hormone is involved in growth, metabolism, weight loss, and muscle strength. Several studies have found that fasting could naturally increase HGH levels. Another small study in 9 men found that fasting for just 2 days led to 5-fold increase in the HGH production rate. Plus, fasting may help maintain steady blood sugar and insulin levels throughout the day, which may further optimize levels of HGH, as some researchers have found that sustaining increased levels of insulin may reduce HGH levels. Animal and test tube studies indicate that fasting may benefit the treatment and prevention of cancer. In fact, one rat study found that fasting helped block tumor formation. Similarly, a test tube study showed that exposing cancer cells to several cycles of fasting was as effective as chemotherapy in delaying tumor growth and increased the effectiveness of chemotherapy drugs on cancer formation. Fast and find health. Fast, because without any hesitation, fasting is the shield for hellfire and all the badness in the world. As we see, fasting has many benefits to our health and body. Besides that, fasting helps us to develop the quality of taqwa by abstaining from sinful deeds and training ourselves to control our thoughts and desires. Fasting is deeply spiritual practice that is meant to benefit us in the body, mind, and heart.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Say, He is Allah who is one. Allah, the eternal refuge. He neither begets, to be the father of, nor is born, nor is there to him any equivalent.
يا مستعان يا الله يا محسن يا الله يا متعال يا الله يا رحمن يا الله يا مستعان يا الله يا محسن يا الله يا متعال يا الله يا رحمن يا الله يا رحيم يا الله يا كريم يا الله يا مجيد يا الله يا فرد يا الله يا رحيم يا الله يا كريم يا الله يا مجيد يا الله يا فرد يا الله يا بتر يا الله يا أحد يا الله يا صمد يا الله يا محمود يا الله يا بتر يا الله يا أحد يا الله يا صمد يا الله يا محمود يا الله.
Don't forget to tune in to our end of show Kahoot game. The code will be given shortly. Now let's see what decorations Nimet will make for us today.
we will do it every day. Here we have our Happy Ramadan writing, but each letter stands for a word which explains Ramadan. H stands for hope and P stands for pray. We have our donation box and salawat boxes here. And lastly, we have our 30-day Ramadan chart. Each day has a sunnah and hadith in it. And some of the days there is surprises which our parents will give. An example of a sunnah is saying Alhamdulillah after eating dinner and drinking water. An example of an hadith is fasting is a Muslim's shield. Have a happy, healthy, and lovely Ramadan.
Thank you, Nimit, for the great decorations. Now moving on to the Quranic verse, hadith, and quote of the day. Stay tuned.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, chapter Fussilat, ayat 34 and 35, good and evil cannot be equal. Repel evil with what is better, and your enemy will become as close as an old and valued friend. But only those who are steadfast in patience, only those who are blessed with great righteousness, will attain to such goodness.
Jarir ibn Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported that the Messenger of Allah, may peace and blessings be upon them, stated that if someone does not show mercy to people, Allah will not show mercy to them.
Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu's nickname was Siddiq, which means to be truthful. He was the first caliph of Islam, the first male to accept the message of Islam, and the Prophet's closest companion and advisor. He said in one of his sayings, "Taking pain to remove the pain from others is the true essence of generosity."
My name is Fasahat and I live in the southeastern part of India, that is Hyderabad. I am 17 years old and I aim to become a doctor and serve Allah's most beautiful creation. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to wish Ramadan Mubarak to everyone who's watching this. Finally, Ramadan is here, the month that we all have been waiting for so long. This is a time to feed our souls with good deeds. Everything we do in Ramadan helps us increase our taqwa, that is piety. I'd like to grab your attention to some of the features of Ramadan in my country, India, especially my city, Hyderabad. Ramadan is the most awaited month. First of all, the mosques get filled with all the devotees. As in any part of the country, even in India, people start worshipping more during Ramadan and the mosques get filled. Even the younger children join their elders for namaz and recitation of Quran. The preparation of Ramadan starts way before Ramadan starts. All the people get crowded in the grocery shops. As Ramadan is approaching in India, in the peak summer, since few years, it becomes very difficult for us to go out in the scorching heat and get grocery. So people usually stock up. All the houses get clean and our souls too. So during the first 20 days of Ramadan, people devote themselves completely to Allah. But during the last 10 days, the mosques become more active as people stay in mosques for itikaf. They don't come out of the mosque for around 10 days, and the family members give them all the stuff that they need. Charminar, which is a very famous monumental place of Hyderabad, gets fully filled with women shopping and men eventually carrying their bags during the last few days of Ramadan. The food stalls get filled completely. During this time, the Charminar looks so glamorous due to all the lightning and all the shining clothes out of the stalls. It is a time where you find different varieties of foods and halim to relish in. Halim is actually a dish which is made up of wheat, oats, meat and dry fruits. So all the halim lovers wait eagerly for this season.
يا صادق الوعد يا الله يا علي يا الله يا غني يا الله يا شافي يا الله يا صادق الوعد يا الله يا علي يا الله يا غني يا الله يا شافي يا الله يا كافي يا الله يا وافي يا الله يا باقي يا الله يا هادي يا الله يا كافي يا الله يا وافي يا الله يا باقي يا الله يا هادي يا الله يا قادر يا الله يا ساتر يا الله يا قهار يا الله يا جبار يا الله يا قادر يا الله يا ساتر يا الله يا قهار يا الله يا جبار يا الله يا قهار يا الله يا جبار يا الله يا غفار يا الله يا فتاح يا الله يا قهار يا الله يا جبار يا الله يا غفار يا الله يا فتاح يا الله.
Thanks for being a part of our show all the way from India. We really appreciate our international audience. Now for today's clip of Gratitude Journal.
Let's share our gratitude. Think about something you are grateful for. Write it on any kind of paper board, put it over your head, and snap a picture. Send your photographs to studentsnj@gmail.com with her first and last name along with her state. We wish you a great Ramadan.
Before we get into Kahoot, we would like to introduce Viewers Corner. We want to interact with you guys as much as possible. So take a picture and post it using the hashtag Ramadan for Youth TV.
Send us your feedback and comments by simply sending an SMS or a WhatsApp message to the number 202-649-5255. 0109 as shown on the screen.
Feel free to DM us on Instagram or Twitter at Sky Academy NJ.
Now up next, the greatly awaited Kahoot competition. Stay tuned, passing it on to Bilal.
Five, 886. I know yesterday said day 6. It was indeed day 7. Today's day 8. I kind of get hungry the last 10 hours of the day and kind of hits my head. So sorry about that. Again, if you win, send your screenshot to 202-649-0109. Yesterday's winner was Nihad, and we already sent her gift card to her. Last 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Day 8. What was the hadith of the day about? It was about us having mercy on others so Allah can have mercy on us. Ekrem is in first place with 920 points. All right. Hussein is always in second for some reason. 2,000 points. What is an astrolabe? Okay, that was literally a freebie. It's used to predict the position of the sun, moon, and stars. Mustafa is in first place. Speaker Mustafa is now in first place with 2,826 points. Hussein still in second place. What was on the menu today? It was cinnamon tea cake. I watched this video, I think, 4 times the last 24 hours. And each time I got hungry and hungry and more hungrier. Hussein is now in first place with 3,936 points. All right, let's go a little quick. It's almost iftar time. What is the surah of the day, Al-Ikhlas, about? Allah is one, there is none like him. Hussein, good job. Set up to now in second place, 5,027 points. Pick 2. What 2 things were our friends thankful for? was indeed Allah's mercy in this program. I was really happy to see that. Thanks for all your support, guys. Hussein is still in first place with 7,209 points. Send us what you're grateful for to 202-649-0109. Send us a picture. What did Muslims gain with the use of Nashralab? Muslims use it to perfect the Qibla. You know, we pray towards the Kaaba, so, you know. Shane, good job. 8,512 points, still in first place. Let's keep that record. Verse of the day, only those who are blank and blank will attain goodness. Only those who are patient and blessed with righteousness will attain goodness. Be kind and fair. EMO now in first place with 9,561 points. Final question, true or false? Taking pains to remove the pains of others is the true essence of generosity. All right, this was a freebie too. True. All right, let's see who won. If you won, send your screenshot to 202-649-0109. Senya down third place. Wow, all right. Senya on third. Mitten, second. Let's see who's first. EMO, congrats. Send your screenshot to 202-649-0109 with any other feedback or suggestions.
You create my soul, and you will take it back. Its death and life are in your hands. If you return it alive, protect it, and if you take it back, forgive it. O Allah, I ask you for well-being. O Allah, Lord of the heavens, Lord of the earth, and Lord of the supreme throne, our Lord and Lord of everything, clever of the grain and the kernel, and the one who sent down the Torah, the Gospel, and the Criterion, Al-Furqan, the Quran. I take refuge in you from the evil of everything, for everything is in your grasp. O Allah, you are the first and there is nothing before you. You are the last and there is nothing after you. You are the manifest, who owns and rules everything from outside, and there is nothing above you. You are the hidden, who owns and rules everything from the within, and there is nothing beyond you. Settle for us our debts, and keep us free from poverty. O Allah, truly I have submitted myself to you, turned my face to you, entrusted my affairs to you, relied on you. There is no refuge or security except in you. O Allah, I believe in the book that you revealed and in the prophet that you sent.
O Allah, on this day, cover me with your mercy. Grant me in success and protection. Purify my heart from the darkness of false accusation. Oh, the merciful to his and his believing servants. Amen.
Ameen. That was a beautiful prayer. Well, that concludes today's episode.
Thank you, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
I hope everyone enjoys their iftar and see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m.